Hello, welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on Twitter at Movies TV Mad. Smash the like button if you love me, subscribe if you're new. Please have your say. A very warm welcome to Monday's edition of the DC Universe Daily. It's the beginning of yet another very exciting week here on Movies TV Mad, where I will be live twice a day, every day for the DC Universe Daily, keeping you updated and reacting to all the DC Universe news and DC Elseworlds news. And in the evening, we have our chat where we can talk about anything in entertainment, have some banter, and have a laugh. So your headline today is that Sasha Calle confirms that she has had discussions with DC Studios about her DC Supergirl future. Specifically, she has met with Peter Safran, not James Gunn. Very interestingly, it would make sense considering they cut her out of the ending, because the world, the universe, the Earth that Barry actually ends up in is a dead end. It's the Clooney universe. Clooney's not going to be Batman unless he is. I don't think that he is. And I think that's why Sasha wasn't there at the end. So it's looking like she could star in Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. Now, I've been fighting for Sasha online to continue as Supergirl. She did very well in the Flash movie. She was one of the better elements of the movie. But can she lead a whole movie? I think they may want to get a co-star to help her. And I think that would be a very, very good idea. But we don't know anything yet. John, hi there. Hello, John. Welcome to the DC Universe Daily here on Movies TV Mad. And your headline today is Sasha Calle has had discussions with Peter Safran from DC Studios about her Supergirl future. That's your main headline today. And so it's good that she's had these discussions, but also she is someone who is in a disaster of a movie, a bigger box office bomb than even I thought it would become. And there will be consequences and there will be recriminations for this failure. I also want to ask on today's DC Universe Daily, why was James Gunn and Peter Safran announced while these movies were being released? Why wasn't Walter Hamada kept in his position as president of DC Film until these films had released? And I think the specific answer from me is this, that they wanted to use James Gunn as an influencer, a flag waver to try and sell these dead-end movies. And it has not worked. His power as an influencer to influence these movies to do well simply hasn't worked. Does this put James Gunn's position in jeopardy? Well, it absolutely depends if they brought him in to be an influencer or to actually be a creative head. If there really is a new plan, if they really are going to do everything they say they're going to do. John, I think Joker 2 will make the most money. Yes, you're correct, John. I expect Joker Folie à Deux to make at least another $1 billion. I expect the Batman 2 to do better than it did last time and make around $1 billion. These are the movies that people are going to come in for, not have agendas about. These are the kind of movies DC fans want generally, and the general audience are interested in because they trust the people making the movies. That's the difference. You know, the immoral tactics that have been used to sell the Flash movie simply haven't worked. Specifically, people like Stephen King and Tom Cruise saying they loved the movie. Did they genuinely love the movie, or was there something more notorious behind it? I have some answers for you. Tom Cruise was given some IMAX space and screens by WB. So basically, he's been desperate for his latest Mission Impossible adventure to get more IMAX screens, and he was given them by WB. WB gave up some screens for his movie. So it's obvious why he said he loved the Flash movie. So has he even seen the Flash movie, or was it bullshit? Then there's the Stephen King situation, and I'm very disappointed in myself for not seeing this in the first place. Stephen King is the author of It. Andy Muschietti directed It and It Chapter 2. So it's all beginning to make sense now. It was all bullshit from the very beginning. It was just immoral tactics to try and sell the movie, and none of it has worked. In fact, it's backfired. The early screenings at CinemaCon, the early fan screenings to get the word of mouth simply didn't work. Influencers lied. People who saw that movie lied about the quality of the movie as well. It may be an okay, solid movie in places, the best movie since The Dark Knight and Superman the movie. It is not. What terrible tactics they initiated, and they simply haven't worked. John, with the writer's strike going on, do you think Comic-Con will still happen? That's a very, very good question. I don't know why the writer's strike or the actor's strike would affect Comic-Con, but if the dates have to change, maybe they will. But I would imagine that San Diego Comic-Con still goes ahead. We simply don't know, first of all, how long this writer's strike will last. The last one lasted for over 100 days, but this one is complicated. It's not just about pay, it's about AI, how many writers they have per episode. There's so many complications. There's deep themes and, issues with the studios, the streamers. The streaming deals are the ones that are really complicated. I can't see this writer's strike ending anytime soon. And the Actors Union, SAG-AFTRA, are about to decide whether they're going to actually go on strike. They voted for strike action if they don't get the deals that they want. So watch this space. Waz 007, yes, James Aaron is very pissed with Warner Brothers Discovery. Waz 007. Mick, did you see Aaron's new video? I saw a video last night. I'm not sure if that's the latest one. James a crack. Yes, Aaron is angry with Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah, listen, we're all disappointed in Warner Brothers Discovery because they lied to us. They tried to lie to us so we would support this movie. The great thing is about most DC fans, they're supporting this movie. Now, clearly, the Snyderverse stands have got mass boycotts. I'm not sure how many of the DC fandom, are members of the Snyderverse, but the people shit-talking this movie, let's be clear, because basically there's a Superman kind of account who's getting very upset that Snyder fans are shit-talking this film, when it's not just Snyder fans. It's the Snyder fans, it's the fandom menace, it's a lot of people shit-talking this film. All you have to do is go on YouTube, go on Twitter. There's a lot of people, and there's the people who hate Ezra Miller as well. That's been another element. So it's a very complicated element. It's not the usual Snyderverse stuff. It's not just them. There's other people like shit-talking this movie as well. But here's the facts of the matter. This is not about Ezra Miller. It's people who went to see this film gave it a B. Not a B plus, a B. That's less than Black Adam, because the people who went to see Black Adam, went to movie screens to see, actually enjoyed it while they were there. I've spoken to so many people who enjoyed themselves during their viewings of Black Adam. So it only made just over $400 million, but people enjoyed what they saw. Yeah, the villain was lame. It was like an end boss battle on your PlayStation. I get that. But it was a good time at the movies, and the VFX was stunning. And the music, by the way, by is it Bal? I forgot his name anyway, but Wolf Balf or whatever his name is, was brilliant and much better than the score from Warfish, as far as I'm concerned. So lots of issues with the Flash movie. As I say, the only thing I truly enjoyed from that movie that I can say was quality was the performance of Ezra Miller as two characters, creating that special dynamic, that mentor-pupil dynamic, that friendship dynamic, between his own self. It was very clever. And if it wasn't for Ezra's conduct, that performance would be more celebrated right now. Blue Beetle animator. WB keeps trying to attract the casual MCU crowd. The MCU casual isn't falling for it. No, they're not. Waz 007. Few YouTube people don't like Ezra Miller. Blue Beetle animator. Lorne Balfe. Thank you, my friend. What a stunning score by the man. I still listen to it. But I'm afraid that Benjamin Wallfish's score is very, very mid. And it just sounds like I'm watching Shazam. Blue Beetle animator. Good morning, a very good morning to you wherever you're from. I'm here in Cyprus. It's 1:30. I've been busy recording videos on Twitter. I fell asleep, and that's why I'm late today. So I apologize about that. James and Crap. John and Grace lied to us. What do you mean? I don't understand. Although Grace Randolph is feeding James Gunn to the wolves. I saw her latest Movie Mass video, and she called him an influencer, and she's right. And that kind of made me think about it. Why is he actually there? Is he there as an influencer to sell these movies? Or is he actually really there as a creative at DC Studios to be doing stuff? You know, obviously now they've said Blue Beetle is part of the new universe, even though Blue Beetle was made way before they announced this new universe. They've cottoned on to the fact that saying these movies don't matter, or, you know, making it feel like these movies don't matter isn't good for business. They're hoping if they say this movie is part of the new universe, people will want to go. But who's interested in this new universe? That's the interesting thing about it. Until we start to see what Superman Legacy is shaping up to be. For example, who's doing the score? Who's playing Superman? Who's playing Lois? Who's playing Jimmy? Who's playing Perry? Until he announces some cast, I don't think people are going to be that interested. Blue Beetle animator at Black Adam was epic. Took itself seriously. It was. I liked Black Adam. I thought it was one of the Rock's better performances. It wasn't perfect. I think consistently as a whole piece of work, it was better than the Flash movie. James and Crap, time 8:32 p.m. Waz 007, time 11:32 p.m. Waz 007, thing look not good. Sorry, say that again. Waz 007, thing look not good for Warner Brothers Discovery. Waz 007. I hope James Gunn doing full reboot. At this moment in time, he's doing a soft reboot. As we know, nothing's changed. We don't really know. These people change their minds 5 times a day. We don't know where we are with them. We know that the Flash movie is a financial catastrophe. They lied to you for a reason. They wanted this film not to make $1 billion. They wanted it to make Spider-Man No Way Home money. They wanted it to make a couple of $1 billion. And they thought their lies would enable it to do so. And it's a disaster. This is a company in debt. It can't afford to be losing money. They gave away, free tickets to early screenings. It didn't work. Money on marketing. They're not going to get that money back. They're barely going to get the money back for the movie's budget. It is a disaster. Waz 007, Pierce Brosnan was great as Dr. Fate. He was, yes. That was one of the good things. I wish we had more of a Justice Society in the movie, but I loved Hawkman as well. I thought Hawkman was brilliant. Blue Beetle animator. All the DCEU directors complain about their movies being cut by at least an hour. WB can't keep getting away with this. Well, it's pretty obvious that they cut Andy Machete's film to pieces, but the VFX is unfinished. Why? I can only kind of conclude that AI were finishing up the CG, because I don't understand how your CG is unfinished. It's terrible. Affleck's face looks fake, even looks fake on the trailers. By the way, I don't like that Batman costume he was wearing. It looks very, very untidy. And talking about the 6th DCEU movie to fail, one of the reasons I think they're failing is look at the leads. These are not people that should be leading DC movies or any movies. If you go back to Wonder Woman, they did a very clever thing. They paired off Gal Gadot with Chris Pine. He's a proper lead of a movie. They knew she couldn't lead the movie on her own. That's why they brought Chris back, for that convoluted reason of how they brought him back to life, because Chris can lead a movie because he led all the Star Trek films as well. And he did a really, really good job at that. Blue Beetle, animator, can we fans make a petition to sell DC? We can make a petition. We can absolutely do that. If it will make any difference, I don't know. Waz 007, all Justice Society characters, was great in Black Adam. James a crap. I don't know why Neil Kirby would destroy the Stan Lee movie and who created Spider-Man, Hulk, for Iron Man and X-Men Fantastic Four. Well, Kirby is angry. Kirby fell out. His father fell out with Stan Lee. Stan Lee was a very unethical man, my friend. Stan Lee stole a lot of people's ideas and took the credit for it. And I'm actually on Kirby's side in this situation. Waz 007, Jamie Alexander was near cast for Wonder Woman. That's right. Blue Beetle animated. Chris Pine would have been a great Hal Jordan. Maybe he still can be. Waz 007, I agree with you. Blue Beetle, sell DC. So, yeah, I mean, listen, I've said it before. Warner Brothers' stewardship of DC has been terrible from day one. Ronnie Dodge, good morning, Ronnie. Hey, Mick, on the way for round 2. Enjoy yourself watching round 2 of The Flash, my friend. I hope you have a better time with it this time. An inconsistent movie that does one thing well, and it's the performance of Ezra Miller as two characters. Formulating that dynamic was special. As I said earlier, if not for their conduct, it would have been a much more celebrated performance. As for the rest of it, it's all very mish-mash. Some of the cameos were cool. The way they looked was interesting. The FX is terrible. Music was mid. I said it a long time ago. Never wanted Warfish to do the score. I wanted Rupert Gregson-Williams. He's a better scorer of music. He has more emotional beats, and he's one of my favorite DCEU composers. Waz 007, Chris Pine was great choice. I know I read that. Ronnie Dodge, did you see James saying about incredible auditions for Superman Legacy this morning? Yes, of course he is. And I'll tell you why. It's a distraction from the disastrous box office of The Flash. That's why he's doing it. That's why he's been leaking these auditions out from the beginning. So I haven't seen the tweet. I'll look for it later, but it's more of the same, my friend. So we'll see. James, it's a distraction. That's all they've got now. And they're going to be throwing someone under the bus very soon. Could it be James himself? I doubt it. James a crap. But here's the thing. The truth is that he and Kirby created the Marvel Universe together. Well, as far as we know, Kirby was a very talented man. Kirby was a more talented man than Stan Lee. And I'm on Kirby's son's side. I never trusted Stan Lee. Blue Beetle animator. Atom Smasher was underused. I agree. In the comics, Atom Smasher was part of the JSA, but joined Black Adam because he believed in his ideals. The movie could have showed that. Absolutely, I agree. Ronnie Dodge, you feel the cast of Superman Legacy will leak before SDCC, or will they manage to keep the cast under wraps until Comic-Con? They're not keeping anything under wraps, Ronnie, because we've seen it. James Gunn came in boasting that he keeps his secrets. He was calling out all the leaks. Now it looks to me he's leaking all these auditions and the audition process out on purpose to create some buzz. And don't forget, the Clooney cameo was leaked weeks ago as well. And, that wasn't even in early screenings. Wouldn't surprise me if he leaked that as well. After all, it was his idea to bring Clooney back. Just think, it was cheaper to have a cameo of Henry Cavill than George Clooney. George Clooney's few seconds appearance would have been very, very expensive because he is an A-lister even today. James a crap, but Lee gave Kirby credit. Well, maybe not on everything. Clearly, there's a reason the Kirbys are not happy, my friend. I don't know the details, to be honest with you, but I trust Kirby over Stan Lee. Stan Lee had a reputation for stabbing creatives in the back, and you can ask anyone about that you like. But this is the DC Universe Daily. This is not the Stan Lee Daily. If you want to talk about Stan Lee, we can talk about it in the live tonight. I'm happy to talk about DC, though. Ronnie Dodge, I want that ending of Wonder Woman and Supergirl in The Flash. By the sounds of it, Gal said she's done as Diana. Yes, she says she's empowered to move on after the cancellation of Wonder Woman 3. I can tell you, I've been told that Gal is not happy that movie was cancelled. Personally, I think it's one of the few good decisions that Gunn's actually made. If he's making decisions, if he's not just someone who's there as an influencer to try and sell these bad movies. If he actually is the co-CEO of DC Studios, a studio that doesn't seem to be populated with many people. But anyway, yeah, I think she's done, Ronnie, and I agree. By the way, I think it's Superman and Wonder Woman at the end that they cut out. It was Cavill and Wonder Woman. The original ending was Supergirl and Keaton with Barry. I think that's what it was. James of Crap, look, I think they should make a Jack Kirby documentary. Maybe they will. Maybe they just don't want to. But I wouldn't trust anything Disney made. If Disney told me that there was a full moon and the sky was blue, I wouldn't believe them. Was 007, I happy that Gal gone now. Ronnie Dodge, Sasha meeting Peter is interesting, but I think they will recast Cara with a blonde actress. It's a shame. I love Sasha. I love her too. But what's interesting about this, when was this meeting? Was this meeting before Gunn was there? Because Safran was there first. We know that Safran was already at DC, of course. Gunn was already there before he got the position as well. What did they discuss? If they wanted to continue, why don't they just announce it? I don't know what's going on. Are they just saying it to negate the negative publicity they're getting at the moment? Who the fuck knows? We can't trust these people, Ronnie. That's the problem. I love Sasha. I love the fact that she's loved Supergirl all her life. She seems like a really sweet girl. I do feel absolutely terrible for her. I really do. She's just another victim of these bastards. And they are bastards. It's as simple as that. James and Crap, I'm not looking forward for James to Gunn, Superman Legendary. You mean Superman Legacy. Was 007. I hear that Wonder Woman 3, Chris Pine character was coming back to alive. James did not like story. As far as I know, I asked a few people, Chris Pine was not going to come back. I did speak to some people who know Chris vaguely, and he was not going to come back to Wonder Woman 3. So that's that, Was. But it's not happening now. We've never known what's happening with Wonder Woman. We know they're doing a series. They're doing a Themyscirian series, but we don't know who his Wonder Woman's going to be. When he was told that she's going, that he's gotten rid of her, he said no. But one thing we know, and I'm sorry to say this to you, James, if you ever see this video, which I doubt, because no one important watches these videos, but if you are watching this video, unfortunately, you have been caught out in lies and misbehavior a lot since you become the co-CEO of DC Studios. You're getting yourself in a muddle, son. Sam Dejan reviews, Chris Pine can come back and join the Suicide Squad. It happens in the comics. I would love that, Sam. It's something I'd love to see. Big fan of Chris. I think he's an excellent actor. Who knows? Was 007, maybe Sasha, my new character for DC. I was thinking that as well, Was, yep. And I'd be down for that. Ronnie Dodge, what about the Daniela Melchier's Dinah who played Ratcatcher? Well, I got nothing against that. I thought her performance in the Suicide Squad was sensational, but his Suicide Squad is still active. So I'm assuming he'll still want her to play Ratcatcher too, as far as I know. As I say, who knows what's going on anymore? What's misinformation? What's being leaked out by Gunn? How are they going to try and distract from this negativity? But luckily for them, they've got a movie in under 2 months to focus on, so they can distract from the negative publicity. But will the negative publicity hurt Blue Beetle? Now, the negative publicity from Justice League didn't hurt Aquaman, which was very interesting. But Aquaman was a stunning movie. Is this, as you know, going to be as epic as the Aquaman movie? I don't think so. James a Crap, come on the Sam Dejan reviews. That's a bad idea. Ronnie Dodge, yes, scrap that idea. Yeah, be interesting who they cast as the new Wonder Woman. Yeah, it will be interesting who they cast because it doesn't look like it's going to be Gal Gadot. I hated her past 2 cameos. They haven't been the Diana that I know and love all bright, all smug smiles. Doesn't work for me. The scene at Hodgson Row, while Bruce Wayne the Batman had the lasso of Hastian around him, was very uncomfortable. And that whole thing of Barry, coming out as a virgin was fucking pathetic. They love making fools out of straight male characters. You are pathetic, Christina. Do you hear me? Pathetic and so small-minded. And if you never write another DC project again, it will be too soon. Waz 007, Sasha could play Batgirl. She could do. She's very good friends with Leslie Grace, I can tell you that, who did play Batgirl. So that could be a little bit awkward. Maybe Leslie Grace can still play Batgirl. Just because her movie's been shelved, it doesn't mean she's done as Batgirl. We'll have to wait and see what they are playing at. Do they have a plan? This is the thing. If plan A doesn't work, do they have a plan B? I don't know. All I know is they lied, they manipulated, and they failed. Everything they try turns to dust. And this movie is a disaster. This movie reportedly cost over $300 million to make with all the reshoots and everything. Samujan reviews. That's why only way Chris Pine can come back. Waz 007. I hope get better actress for Wonder Woman. Well, you know what, Sam? If they did a full reboot, then he could have come back in any position they wanted him to, including Steve Trevor again. But unfortunately, we're not getting a full reboot, which is a mistake. Sandy Jan reviews. In this Flash, they should have retconned Steve Trevor's death. Absolutely. It's a problem. I mean, I understand why he dies at the end of the first film, because it's his hero moment. Then they undid his hero moment, like Abrams undid, Darth Vader's hero moment at the end of Return of the Jedi by bringing back Palpatine. Ronnie Dodge, according to DCEU leaks, Mr. Terrific is in Legacy. Wow. That would be awesome. Mr. Terrific is an awesome character. I think there's going to be, well, we've discussed this before on my channel, Ronnie, that I believe there's going to be a lot of world building in Superman Legacy. It's something that excites me about the film. I have no doubts about James Gunn as a writer-director. My doubts are, can he be the big enchilada? Can he be the Kevin Feige? Is he right? Should he just concentrate on making films? James a crap. My review, Aaron Fisher said, plan B is to bring back the Snyderverse. Yeah, it's wishful thinking, I'm afraid, James. That's not, I mean, that may be plan B from Adby and DeLuca. It won't be plan B from James Gunn, who is still in the prime position. Ronnie Dodge, I had reservations how much world building you can do in a 2-hour Superman movie. Well, that's the thing, Ronnie. We don't know if it's a 2-hour Superman movie. But to be fair, his movies are normally from 2 hours to 2.5 hours. His Suicide Squad movie was only 2 hours. But you can still do a lot of world building in that runtime. Because you don't have to have loads of screen time of it. You just have to see different things. There can be stuff in the Daily Planet. As I said with the Authority, Lois Lane can be investigating the Authority and writing articles about them. So you don't really need to spend much time on the world building. You can name drop the Justice League if they're there. You can name drop this one. You can have a few appearances, and that's how you can do it. Ronnie Dodge, Guardians 3 was 2 hours and 30 minutes. That's correct. James a crap. Sam Dejan reviews. We don't need Steve Trevor back. I would have loved that. I love Chris Pine. But I don't see how they do it legitimately anyway. And I think I don't know what they're going to do. They may even go in another direction away from Chris Pine. The Jumper. Do you think James Gunn has any blame on the Flash failing? Listen. I think it was ill-conceived to go around calling this movie the bestest movie, one of the best CBMs I've ever seen. That was desperation. But no, I don't really think, I don't think it's directly his fault. I think removing Hamada before these movies finished releasing was a mistake. Hamada should have stayed, being forced to take responsibility for his shit, and James and Peter should not have been announced till 2024. So that can be held responsible a little bit. I suppose in a way, the way he was coming out and talking about his plans and making it look like these movies didn't matter without blatantly saying it may have caused problems. There's so many different reasons, my friend, the jumper, why this movie failed. And a lot of those reasons don't even have anything to do with the actual movie. But don't forget, 5 previous movies have also failed. And, people just don't believe in the DCEU. Thankfully, it's ended now because the DCEU, the way I knew it and loved it, finished after the Snyder Cut. Let's be honest about it. Ronnie Dodge, what about Girl playing Hippolyta in the DCEU? That would be a great idea, but I think she's pissed with them and I don't think it's going to happen. Sam the Jam reviews. I hope the new Wonder Woman focuses on the mythology because that's what the DCEU movies lacked. Well, I tell you what, they had a lot of mythology. Zack Snyder's all about mythology. I don't know about Wonder Woman and Themyscira mythology. I think that's something they will get into, so that will be cool. James O'Crap, can you give me updates on the Truth 31? Why would I give you updates on another YouTuber, my friend? That's very, very weird, James, why you'd want me to give you updates on my competitors. That doesn't actually make sense. I'm here to talk about DC. I'm here to talk about entertainment. I am not here to talk about other YouTubers unless specifically they say something that interests me. Unless I decide to partner up and go on their channel or they come on my channel. Ronnie Dodge, I mean, the one thing about Gunn, he likes to stick to comic accurate. Gunn, look, listen. Gunn is a good writer-director. He's done a good job with Peacemaker, the Suicide Squad, and the Guardians trilogy. He can't be faulted. Some of the things he's done and said since he's come on board have been problematic. The arguments he's getting involved with on Twitter are not good. If he sticks to making films and telling stories, I think he could create something really, really special. Because what he's saying about CBMs and comic books right now are facts. So I don't have an agenda against James Gunn, and I'm not going to put the blame for this movie on him because that would be ridiculous. Waz Doublers and Mick, who's he playing new Wonder Woman? Hopefully someone we've never heard of. James and Crap, I just wondered to see what is causing for Snyderverse fans. Well, what do you want to know? I don't get it. Yeah, sorry. I mean, you could always watch his videos. Why do you want me to report on Truth 31? It doesn't make sense. The jumper, if you're David Zaslav, what do you do now? Well, he's put his money on the James and Peter ticket, right? They're doing auditions according to them, right? They're on a road. So if I'm David Zaslav, I mean, obviously, if I was him, I'd know more than I do right now. But from the outside looking in, you have to carry on this road. Personally, I wouldn't have gone on this road. I wouldn't have continued a connective universe. I would have just gone with the Elseworlds, with your Jokers. I would have got really, I would have got auteurs to make standalone trilogies, standalone movies, adapt these universes like Matt Reeves and Todd Phillips are doing wonderfully. I think that's the future. I think that's where the money is. That's what I would have done next in the first place. But we're going on this interconnected road, whether we want it to happen or not. I am interested in it to see what happens. Waz Doublers and Mick should run DC. Thank you. Gavin Troy. I'm glad we are getting lesser known characters like Blue Beetle and etc. I'm going kind of fatigued on Spider-Man, Batman, and Superman. Feels like they have been over purposed, just like Star Wars. Well, this is how I feel, Gavin. I think it's not one thing over the other. We get that a lot these days, but I think there's a place for Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Batman, and all of these characters, along with the smaller characters. You want Blue Beetle to mix with Batman and Superman. You want more of that. Something we didn't really get in the DCEU very much. So I want the lesser-known characters. I definitely want that, but I want my Superman and I want my Batman. I want it all, baby. That's what I want. Ronnie Dodge, be interesting to see Gunn and Saffron at Comic-Con next month. Yes, it will be interesting. The sooner these movies are over, Ronnie, the better for everyone, so we can focus about the future and they're not trying to sell these lame ducks. Waz 007, what scene, a question, show or film John, can you rank these three multiverse movies? No Way Home, Doctor Strange 2, and The Flash. Yeah, easy. No Way Home, Doctor Strange 2, and The Flash. James a crap. James Gunn gets into arguments. He does. Ronnie Dodge, I want a live action Brainiac. Hope that's who we get in Legacy. Yes, it's very interesting who we get in Legacy, considering the rumours about the Authority. But I think we're going to get a lot of these DC characters and this world building in this movie. It's not just gonna be a Superman movie. Ronnie Dodge, I know, I've already read that. I mean, Brainiac is something that we've all been wanting, that we would have got in the Superman Returns sequel, Superman Man of Steel. Now, we saw a great Brainiac, comic accurate one, by the way, in the Krypton series. That was a great show. James a crap, and he's nasty to DC fans. Well, basically, my friend, if you're not nasty to him, he won't be nasty to you. I hear a lot about this. Oh, this person's nasty. But, they call him some really bad names. They're disrespectful. He's never been rude to me because I'm not rude to him, right? That's the point. But, when people are going in your face, that's the problem. He shouldn't really be responding. He's the co-CEO of DC Studios. He shouldn't be getting in these arguments. But, he's not arguing on his own. The Snyder fans are really going for him because he got rid of Henry Cavill. That's what this is all about. But, these fans are not innocent. And then, we're talking about Snyder DC fans, and there's a big difference, I'm afraid. And we have to be honest. They are agenda-driven, and they're loving the fact that the Flash movie has flopped as well. Blue Beetle animator, poor Brainiac keeps getting cancelled. Yeah, I mean, look, I loved him in Smallville. He was comic book accurate in Krypton. So we did get, but I mean, look, there's so many characters. There's so many characters that people want. I think we've had all the alien invasions. We could do with a domestic character like Metallo or something, but I don't know what they're going to do, what he's planning. It will be interesting. I mean, with what he did with the villain in Guardians Volume 3, he could really give us an awesome Brainiac. And maybe that's what we're going to get. But let's see. The Jumper, James Gunn said Blue Beetle is the first DCEU character, correct? Do you think if Blue Beetle flops, James Gunn will change his plans? He can't. He can't. He can't. We may not see the character for a while. He may play a bit part in cameos. But for if you're implying that he recasts Solo, he can't do that. So, because James Gunn hasn't had his creative hands on Blue Beetle yet. This is not James Gunn's movie. So whatever happens, happens. Because that was Hamada's movie. The Jumper, James Gunn said Blue Beetle is the first. Oh, no, I've already read that. So, yeah, you can't start messing about. Like The Flash, like Miller was never going to have a future. That's why they dumped them in a dead-end universe. The Clooney universe is a dead end. And you will not see Ezra Miller as the Flash again. James a crap, but the way he lied about Henry Cavill being Superman and then saying he's not is despicable. First of all, James Gunn never said ever he was the new Superman. That was the studio. That was before James got there. So we need to get our facts straight there. Gary Troy, the villain in Guardians Volume 3 was in Peacemaker. Quite a talented actor. Yes, same actor. James does like to use a small group of people. I think it definitely works. Work with the people you trust because there's so many people in Hollywood you can't. Brilliant British actor. And yeah, can't wait. I mean, I was going to say can't wait to see him in Peacemaker 2 because we won't. He died, which was a shame, but very, very good actor. Maybe he'll play another character. Maybe he could play Brainiac. I know that will piss people off because of the color of the man's skin, but hey, it could work. We shall see. Maybe he'll play Martian Manhunter. That would be interesting as well. But very, very good actor. And yeah, you get your best actors. James Gunn, as I say, is a very good writer-director. In terms of CBMs and comic book stuff, he hasn't put a foot wrong. And that's including his holiday special. He's good at what he does. We must remember that. And I know people have got agendas against him, but I won't. I'm going to judge him on what he does with DC. In terms of a writer-director, some of the stuff he's done since he's come in, maybe it's been a mistake. People are gunning for him, but he's a writer-director. That's his role. and we'll have to judge him on that. Judging him on other stuff isn't really fair. I don't think he's going anywhere right now, unless he was only brought in as an influencer. We will see. It is looking like we could get an announcement for Superman anytime soon. I think if they want some goodwill and a distraction and some amnesia towards the Flash negativity, announcing the casting for Superman or announcing anything for Superman Legacy could really help them. James a crap. I hope we get the DCU box set. DCEU box set. John, did you ever see the Street Fighter movie? I didn't know. That never interested me. But it did have a really good actor as Bison. Very good actor. He's no longer with us, unfortunately. But it's just another waiting game to see what James Gunn's going to give us. But we should have some fun announcements. Maybe at Comic-Con, maybe before Comic-Con as well. I think the sooner they make some announcements on the new Vision, the better. It wouldn't be a bad time to announce the second part and the rest of the slate for DC Universe and Gods and Monsters. That would really help right now. They do need some positivity, because releasing these movies was always going to be a problem. But I repeat, these are not James Gunn's movies at the end of the day. We must remember that. And just because these movies are failing, it doesn't mean James Gunn's plan is down the toilet, or this means bad news for James Gunn, because James Gunn had nothing to do with these films apart from a few notes that he's trying to do. But apart from that, they're not his movies. This movie did not fail. The Flash did not fail because George Clooney was at the ending. That would have made no difference whatsoever. There's a multitude of reasons why the past 6 movies have failed and failed badly. And I mean, I could be here all day. I've given you a list of some of the reasons the DCEU failed, some of the reasons why the Flash failed. And the autopsy will continue. Some people defend this industry. Some people call it out for what it is. But these movies probably should have all had tax write-offs. But basically, fans would have got mad. Well, you've seen how shit the Flash is, right? Or how inconsistent, or how bad the VFX. It's not fair of me to say it's shit completely. Just imagine how bad Batgirl was going to be if they couldn't even give us good, completed, finished VFX for a big movie like The Flash. So we'll see. In the trailers for Blue Beetle, the VFX looks a lot more complete. So credit to that. What's the problem with VFX? That Andy Muschietti isn't very good at it. Is he the right director for Brave and the Bold? Is that a mistake? Why did they really give him the job? Is it true that so many directors, said no to this movie? I wouldn't blame them if that's the case. So basically, the knives are out. This is what happens. Because unfortunately, with our fandom, there are agendas. There's people enjoying the failure of the Flash movie a little bit too much because they think it means the return of the Snyderverse. It does not. That YouTuber is wrong. Plan B is not to return the Snyderverse unless they remove James Gunn. That's another thing. I don't think you can sack James Gunn for what's happened unless you only brought him in to try and sell these shitbags of movies. And I think it would be insane that someone only brought James Gunn in as an influencer, as a flag waver to sell these crappy movies. John, maybe Andy should stick to making horror movies. Well, listen, the presentation of that movie isn't good enough. The editing wasn't great either. And he is the director. His name's on the door. And at the end of the day, either his movie was interfered with by the corporate arm, or it's his fault. If it's his fault, I'm very concerned that he's been given another gig. Gavin Troy, have you seen the Spider-Verse 2 film? No, I haven't yet. No, but it does look good, and I do mean to watch it. I'll probably wait till it's out on digital. It don't take that long these days, does it? The Jumper, the Flash flopped for many different reasons, but the main three, everyone keeps it. echoing? Is the bad CGI, bad horrible ending, or people not wanting to support Ezra? Miller, what do you think the top reason is? Right, Jumper, I'm going to tell you very straight. There is no top reason. There's a multitude of reasons why this movie failed. Sometimes in life, right, let me give you an analogy. Right? When I used to go to a school, a certain school I went to, there was this girl called Hannah. She was the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen. But she was going out with the hard nut, David O'Brien, 3 foot tall, looked like this. He was really cool. Everyone loved him, right? I could never get near her. Sometimes in life, you've just got to realize that no matter what you do, people are not going to be interested in you. And this is the problem with the DCEU. We went from Snyder, Johnson, Berg, Hamada, Justice League. Justice League is one of the damaging factors. I don't think the film is the actual reason the film flopped. Of course, Miller's behavior is very damaging, but you only have to look at the past 5 movies before this movie, Jumper. So you don't need specific reasons, right? The past 5 movies have flopped at the global and domestic box office. It was obvious this film was going to flop as well. The damage was done a long, long time ago. Mid-movies like Shazam, Birds of Prey, Suicide Squad was good by gun, but people didn't go and support it during the pandemic. Wonder Woman 84 got away with it with box office because basically it was day and date during the pandemic, like the Suicide Squad. Black Adam made around 400 million. Really, if that movie wasn't so expensive, that would have been good, because Black Adam isn't a huge character and no one would ever think Black Adam would ever get its own movie. But if they didn't spend so much money, actually the money it did make would have been good. It only needed another 100 million to get a sequel. And if it wasn't banned in China because of some idiot who was in the movie, of what they said, that movie nearly was a success. But they spent far too much money on it. That was the problem, because it was actually a pretty nifty movie. But they've all failed. Simple as that. But the biggest failure is The Flash, because of its expense. When you start telling people this is the best movie since this movie and that movie, right? People expect something special. But there's no top 3 reasons, Jumper. It's so many reasons. I've explained to them. I've gone into it about what went wrong with the DCEU and The Flash on yesterday's lives in the morning and yesterday evening. But I could be here all day listing why this movie failed. The classic excuse is that it's a jam-packed June. That, my friend, is nothing to do with it, right? Because the previous movie wasn't released in a jam-packed June. The previous movie before that wasn't released in a jam-packed June, etc., etc. People are not interested in watching these movies. It's as simple as that. The reputation has been toast since 2013. And I explained this yesterday as well. Basically, Man of Steel was released when? A year after Avengers, the darling of the audience and critics. It was the DCEU was always the ugly sister of the MCU, and because they were doing films in a unique, different way and not the same way as the MCU, that became a problem as well. But even if they did copy and paste Marvel, then everyone would have said, you're copying Marvel, and probably still wouldn't have gone to watch the movies. It was very difficult for DC from the beginning. James of Crap, Aaron Fesher says Snyderverse is the plan B. You've already told me that, and I don't agree. I think he's talking shit. SLCA boss, does anyone know the budget of the movie Blue Beetle? I don't know for sure. I think it's around 100 million, maybe just over. It's a very low budget. Blue Beetle animated. The problem with DCEU is that they tried to go too big too soon. I don't think that's the problem at all. I like the fact that Snyder was big. I like the fact that we got a big Superman movie, a big Batman and Superman movie. If they let us see Ayer's cut too soon, that was good. They were really, as far as, but they were the ugly sister of the MCU, and because they were shaving against the grain with what Snyder was doing as well, it was very difficult for them. Who knows if they did things like the MCU did, if they would have been successful. There is no absolutes in life. James a crap, 120. John, it will interesting to see how long it takes for the Flash comes on out on digital. Very soon, like Shazam Fury of the Gods. The less successful they are, the quicker they come out. I mean, this film's so unsuccessful, I wouldn't be surprised if I wake up and it's on my Amazon or something. It's on my Prime. I mean, it's a disaster, and it will be on digital very soon. They need to make the money up, and it's as simple as that. There's no way to kind of spin the narrative on this movie. It is a disaster. James O'Crack, do you think there is a chance the Snyderverse could return? As I say never in this industry, but it's not a foregone conclusion, and the odds of the Snyderverse returning at the moment are absolutely long. But these movies failing doesn't help the Snyderverse because James Gunn had nothing to do with it. Now, people are going to be praying who want the Snyderverse back that James Gunn fails with Superman Legacy. I'm going to be honest with you. James Gunn is a very capable writer-director. James Gunn knows exactly what he's doing. And I believe he won't fail with Superman Legacy. That is my belief. But I'm not going to sit here and give you nailed-on predictions because it's a very unpredictable situation. But I believe the DCEU is basically dead. It's finished now. We're starting a new universe with Blue Beetle. It's in the past. But even if that movie fails, even though it's in the DCU, according to them, it's not James Gunn's movie. So you can't blame him. So it's all about Superman Legacy. Everything is riding on Superman Legacy. It's as simple as that. I believe he will get it right. I believe he understands comics. He understands what audiences want. And normally, every Guardians movie, the Suicide Squad movie, and the holiday special, and Peacemaker will be loved by audiences. We have to say that. Now, I know Snyderverse stands shit-talked what went on in Peacemaker, but at the end of the day, I watched Peacemaker, and it was a very good emotional story. Blue Beetle Animator, even though I like BVS, they crammed way too many characters into it. It felt like 3 different movies into one. Again, Blue Beetle Animator, I don't agree with this, and I'll tell you why. Because I got this shit as a young man when I loved Batman Returns. Oh, it's overstuffed. I never felt Batman Returns was overstuffed, right? You had Batman, you had the Penguin, you had Matt Shrek, right? You had Catwoman. What's that? 4 characters. In terms of Batman versus... I mean, we saw The Flash for a few scenes. We saw Aquaman for a very short time. We saw Cyborg for a very short time. It wasn't like they were in over-convoluted kind of scenes. So I don't agree with that, Blue Beetle Animator. Gavin Troy, the Marvel fans are taking their criticism of the film too far. One reviewer said that the cameos were insensitive, but praised Marvel for doing the same thing with, what's MOM? I don't know. What's that? Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, and Spider-Verse films. Listen, they asked the families permission. The families get paid, right, for those cameos. So the families don't give a shit. The people are dead. They don't care if they're being disrespected or not. I don't have an issue about that at all. It's just something else. As I say, the knives are out and people are coming up with lots of shit. You know, I liked the Nicolas Cage one. I'm not going to lie. I like the idea of Christopher Reeve and Helen Slater together. The way he made it look was a bit weird. It didn't look like them that much, but it was an interesting way of doing it. I found that all quite. I didn't see the problem with the cameos, but I think when you're doing I would have done the multiverse a lot different, because what you can do is, if you're Barry Allen, you can actually step on those Earths. So instead of doing it that way, you could have it within the movie that he runs on this Earth. He could run past Clark Kent as a young boy in Smallville. That's how you do it. But the way they did it, where it's, oh, look, I've just seen this one, I've just seen that one, while everything's going to hell. That's not the way I would have done it. I would have gone on the Earth of Nicolas Cage and Michael Keaton's Batman. That's how I would have handled that. Have quick little adventures with them. Then go on another planet. You could do it like that. That's how I would have done it. Where am I? SLCA. James talked about world building like Metropolis. Themyscira. Exactly. He was talking about Game of Thrones. So I like what he's saying. That's absolutely what he's saying about the world building excites me. And he's a capable storyteller. Let's not forget that. The Jumper, I agree with everything you're saying, and you're making a lot of sense. I'm skeptical to think that the new set of actors are going to fix the DC brand if it's this badly tarnished. The only thing that's tarnished are all the bad decisions that have gone before in the old DCEU. If you start well, if people like the Superman movie, if they like the world building, the Jumper, then it's fine. But yes, there's been a lot of damage. But don't forget, the Batman made money, wasn't damaged by the DCEU. The Joker made money, wasn't damaged by the DCEU. If a good movie, listen, we know all the issues about the Flash and the issues of behind the DCEU, why the Flash was always going to fail beyond the issue with the Flash. But they put out trailers of a movie with horrible VFX. They lied how good this movie was. It's a clusterfuck. This is a different situation. People know James Gunn is a really good writer-director. I'm open-minded. I'll judge his movie on his movie. I don't have any agendas, I'm afraid. And I know there's a lot of people out there with agendas, and that's not me. James, a crap. But Aaron Fisher, I don't care what he said, says that the SS was destroyed, the DC brand. No, the Suicide Squad did not destroy the DC brand unless you've got a deep biased agenda. The Suicide Squad is a bloody good movie. Brilliant cinematography. It's typical James Gunn. It was madness and I loved it. So that's bullshit. I don't know why you're so obsessed with him and what he says. Ronnie Dodge, the one thing I hope is James shows why Superman is the grandfather of all superheroes. I think he's going to honour him. I think this is why I think we may see a few actors who have played Superman in the past, but I think he will honour him. He understands the importance of this movie. James, a crap. Microphone is glitchy. Sorry about that. All I can do is start again. Ronnie, right, anyone else? Is my microphone glitchy? Or is it just one person? Ronnie Dodd, James, the microphone is all good for me. Brilliant. So if it's only for one person, I don't need to worry. James, a crap, I can't hear you. It's your equipment, mate, not mine. John, you should rank the bad DCEU movies. Do you want me to do that quickly? I will in a minute. I've got them over there. I can tell you it's very easy. Gavin Troy, so is the Blue Beetle film standalone or close enough? Yes, it's standalone. People say the character graduated from Gotham University, correct? And Batman, Superman, Supergirl, and the Flash are mentioned in the film. So don't forget, the Walter Hamada film would have had all those mentions. You can still mention all those characters without actually showing them. So that's fine. Michael Keaton was going to cameo in that movie. They shot something. He cameoed in the test screening of the Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom movie I saw as well. So it's going to be standalone, but they're going to mention these characters, and that's fine. That's kind of exciting. Ronnie Dodge, no, your microphone is fine. Thank you. James and Crap, I couldn't hear you, but it's okay now. Good, good. Blue Beetle animated. Nope. Ronnie Dodge do love that moment of Kara talking Barry into the storm, into the Flash. Yes, she seemed to just know that she had to take him there, though. I mean, apart from that, I did enjoy it. SLCA, even the 3-hour Batman movie turned a profit. Exactly. But, and everyone was saying, oh, it's 3 hours, it's not going to make much money. Oh, they said about the Joker, it's R-rated, it's not going to make a lot of money. If you make a bloody good movie, my friend, and if you trust Todd Phillips, don't forget Todd Phillips made 3 outstanding hangover movies. He's a genius of a storyteller. Matt Reeves is a genius of a storyteller, right? Andy Muschietti isn't a revered auteur, right? He's an inexperienced actor. But hopefully, under James Gunn's tutelage, he'll make a better movie. And I think that's what's good about James Gunn. He's a writer-director. He can look after these inexperienced directors, which he's going to put on. So I think that's a better thing. Ronnie Dodge, imagine if James gets Williams to come out of retirement to do legacy score. Do you know what, Ronnie? I'm really hoping for that because I saw him live doing the Indy 5 one and the man looks in fine fettle. If he does that, it's going to piss off the Snyder fans, but I couldn't give a shit. James of crap. Aaron Fisher, oh my God, you're obsessed. Aaron Fisher says that Suicide Squad 2021 destroyed the DC brand. You said that earlier, my friend, and I'll give you the same answer I said to you then. Bullshit. That's not true. The Suicide Squad is a really, really good CBM. Actually, the Suicide Squad is a much better CBM. Shits all over the Flash, as I'm concerned, and I would rank it higher. Let me get these movies and rank the crap movies. Stay there. Don't you go anywhere. Right. Just to say, I don't have hard copies of Shazam Fury of the Gods because I decided not to buy it. No point, the franchise is ending. I was never going to watch it. Ronnie Dodge, I'll get Michael to do the score. His score for the Batman was so good. I love Michael Giacchino. I can't stop listening to his Lost score right now. He's brilliant. James a crap. Why? I don't understand. Why what? You've got to explain yourself, my friend, when you're talking to me. What do you mean? Why? Why what? You're obsessed with that Aaron Fisher guy. He's like God to you. My God, right. So let's try, I think, so number one of the bad DCEU movies, I think we can say easily is Shazam Fury of the Gods. It betrays the first movie. It's absolute shit. Nothing makes sense. It's a fucking pointless movie, right? So I think, oh no, Peacemaker ain't bad. So basically, what do we say then? Right, what have we got here? Then I'd say, I think Birds of Prey may be better than Wonder Woman 84. So I'd say Wonder Woman 84 at the Birds of Prey, Wonder Woman 84. Is The Flash a bad movie? I don't know. I'd have to do I would have to do a whole ranking again to get my fixtures and get it just like in my head. But definitely those are the films that will be bottom of my list. The Jumper. Do you think Andy Muschietti will deliver a good Batman movie? I think under the supervision of James Gunn, I think there's a chance, yes. But I don't know whose fault the Flash movie sloppiness is, but it's not good. But I'm not gonna be reactive and say he can't make a good Batman movie because I think it's going to be a lighter movie, a fun movie, and luckily for him, hopefully, Christina Hodgson will not be writing it. James a crap. Why don't you have Shazam 2? Because it's rubbish. Ronnie Dodge. The fact Jason is doing reshoots for Aquaman is not good. They're doing more reshoots again, are they? Oh dear. I think they should just cancel that movie, man. But it'll be interesting. No wonder James Wan was complaining the other week. I wonder what all that's about. The Jumper, do you think they should send Aquaman straight to Max? It seems the writing's on the wall for that film as well. Very, very difficult because of agreements and contracts to do that. And that's why they didn't make the Snyder Cut into a series. That's what they claimed anyway. Ronnie Dodge, Damon in Brave and the Bold will be interesting. Yeah, they've got to cast a really vibrant young guy to play that character because he really is a very fun, interesting, dark character. In the animation and in the comics, brilliant. Gavin Troy, I'm curious how Damien will be in the Brave and the Bold. That casting is just as important as the Batman casting. Absolutely, Gavin. He's so important because he's an interesting young kid. He's had this interesting bringing up by Ra's al Ghul, and so he's and it's funny. Some of it's funny. The way they play it in animation as well, it's funny. He'll just say, "Why can't we kill this person?" Or he goes to kill. someone and Batman says no. So there's comedy in that as well. You've got to get the balance right. So I think it's a great choice by James to introduce that version of Robin. But I do agree with you. Very important casting. Blue Beetle animator. The Keaton fight scenes were the best action in the movie. Do you know what? They looked good, right? But I know they're not Michael Keaton. I know that's not Michael Keaton doing it. That's the problem. John, Wonder Woman 84 is hard to watch. I like some of it. I think the third act isn't too bad. The score's brilliant. It's not a great movie, John, I'm afraid. No. James and Crap, I'm going to rank the DCEU, not today because I haven't done anything. I did do some of the worst movies a minute ago, but that was probably a mistake because I really didn't get my bearings. So we'll do it another time. I have ranked them recently, by the way. But I'll tell you what my top 5 are now. If you want to know what my top 5 movies, they haven't changed. They're basically the Snyder trilogy in any order you care. Doesn't really matter, but we're doing them in release order. Man of Steel, BVS, the Snyder Cut, Wonder Woman and Aquaman are in my top 5. They will always be in my top 5. The best of the rest out of that would be James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. Maybe I'll put The Flash next, things like that. And maybe Shazam after that. Ronnie Dodger, I did laugh when Keaton for the measuring tape out low. Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? That was funny. Keaton was very good in the movie, that's for sure. And he got longer on screen than Sasha did. Sasha, I think, did a lot of stuff that they cut. And, because they wasted so much time with the two Barrys in the first and the second act, right? That, there wasn't enough room for Sasha. So by the time you get to know her, she's dead. So it's difficult to feel any empathy for her death because we didn't get to know her. We didn't get to feel our way into the character. John, The Flash could have been a great movie, yes. It's okay in places, but we didn't get the Flash movie we should have done. The Rogues Gallery we've done dirty, Thomas Wayne, all of that stuff. We could have got a much better movie, and that's the point. Gavin Troy, I wonder if they will do a director's cut of the film on streaming. I think it's made so much little money, I think there's a real chance of a 4-hour cut. Ronnie Dodge, Sasha said they cut some of her fight scenes as they was too R-rated. Yes, I spoke about this before. I don't believe they were R-rated. Why would you make R-rated fight scenes for a PG movie? Or did they shoot the R-rated fight scenes on purpose? Have they shot lots of R-rated stuff so they can do a 4-hour R-rated cut? I would buy the shit out of that for sure. More Sasha? Yes, please. Maybe that's what they were up to from day one. Make a shit movie, then release another cut. I don't know what they're going to do, but I think the best thing is the sooner we all forget about The Flash and the DCEU, the better. Gavin Troy, I did hear of a rumor of Zod snapping Kara's neck. Yes, no. There was, I think they did shoot something. It was either Kara's neck or I can't remember now, or Keaton's neck. But I do know someone's neck got snapped because it was supposed to be reverse of him getting his neck snapped in Man of Steel. That did happen, Troy, yes. Or Gavin, should I say. Ronnie Dodge, bring on DCU, all of saying yes. One leader with one plan, and stick with it. Stick with him. John, was the Batman R-rated? No, I don't think it was it? It kind of was on the edge, but they didn't want it to be R-rated, but yes, it wasn't R-rated. I think it was cleverly done. I would be very happy for the Batman 2 to be R-rated though, but we will see. I think the Penguin show that I'm really excited about is going to get an adult rating as well. Ronnie Dodge, it was R-rated here in the UK, it was a 15. Yeah, I think in America it wasn't, if I remember rightly. Yeah, in the old days, we just called them 15s, not R-rated. 15R, they call them, I think. I can't keep up. All I know is that I'm 50, so I can get into any of these movies. They let in the kids for R-rated films. Why do you think the Joker was successful? Blue Beetle Animator, why even do Flashpoint at the first Flash movie? Yeah, I mean, they always were going to do a version of Flashpoint because that's what Zack was planning to end his universe on. So, yeah. I mean, we were going to get a Cyborg movie. There was lots of big plans. it wasn't to be. I think we can surmise now that the Snyderverse was great for some of us, but it ain't going to happen going forward. That's what I think. Unless there's a big disaster. I just don't know, but I think we have to move forward, like what we like from the past. And the Snyder fans will always try and create problems. They will with James Gunn's Superman Legacy. I think I feel sorry for the guy being cast as Superman, because if he's on Twitter, they're going to be really, really abusive towards him. There's no need for that. That's just the way that they are. Ronnie Dodge, it's a shame. I do love Ezra's performance in this movie. Yes, I agree. I'm seeing Transformers tomorrow. Look, as I said, his performance is the best thing about the movie. It's a masterclass of acting. If you're a kid, if you want to be an actor, watch how he does it. You know, obviously they use body doubles and all of that, but what he did interacting with himself, he created a dynamic that's very rarely done. I haven't seen that done since Jesse Eisenberg's The Double, and prior to that, 20, 30 years ago, Jeremy Irons with Dead Ringers. That's a very rare craft. It's a great performance. And as I say, if it wasn't for his conduct, that would have been a hugely celebrated performance, maybe even nominated for awards, because that's how good it was. Ronnie Dodge, I do love Mirabel Verdú as Nora. Yeah, she was very, very good casting. She did have a good performance. Obviously, we don't see much of her, but she was really good. Ron Livingston was difficult for me as Henry because I really liked the other actor in the Snyder Cut, and I'm a bit annoyed that he didn't come back, and I'm a bit suspicious it wasn't to do with scheduling as they claimed, because I don't trust these people. And the tragedy of Ezra, of course, is if they stayed with the Snyders, they would have looked after them. The Snyders looked after Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller was fine. I think when they got into trouble, he should have moved in with the Snyders. They should have moved in with the Snyders. I think that's what they should do. The jumper with Disney MCU oversaturating the market and DCU making mid-movies, do you think Warner Bros. Discovery should push Superman Legacy back, let the audience get a break? Well, you've got to look at it, because when we finish this year, we're going to have the Joker and the Batman the following year. The Batman 2 comes out the same year as Superman Legacy. I don't actually think we need a break, because I think we're already going to get a break from the interconnected universe for 1 year. It's just Joker next year. It's just the Penguin. There'll be a feel-good factor. Everyone will be excited to step into this Superman movie. So no, I don't think we need a prolonged break. If they want a prolonged break to make their movie, that's different. And James Gunn's already said, no date is set in stone. He's going to make sure he makes the movies the best they can be. Something we've seen didn't happen with the DCEU. Look at the condition and presentation of The Flash. James and Crap, my ranking of DC movies: 9 Batman and Robin, 8 Batman Forever, 7 Batman Returns, bad to okay, 6 cons, 25. Sad performance. I don't really know what you're saying now. Man of Steel, okay, 3, BVS 2, The Dark Knight 1, Zack Snyder's Justice League, good to great. Fair enough. I mean, I'm not really obsessed with doing rankings. I know what I love. I could love 20 movies. How do I rank 20 movies? I may like Batman Begins and Batman Returns equally. Why should I rank them? That's my problem with these, from bad to worse bullshit. It's just not a good thing. I don't like it. I don't know. It's a shame we live in that culture, isn't it? Everyone's obsessed with these rankings. It's been a bit of a long video today, hasn't it? We've really got into the conversations. Of course, there's not much news apart from the headline that Sasha Calle has talked to DC Studios, specifically Peter Safran, on a very good chat, very progressive chat about her future at DC. But what I would say is we heard the same bullshit with Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck. So this may be just letting us down gently. I know it's Sasha who said it, but Sasha will say whatever they tell her to say. So be very careful. But of course, we're reporting the news. According to Ronnie Dodge, they're doing some reshoots for Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom as well. But I wonder what they're changing this time. It could be something to do with the future. Maybe at the end, maybe Aquaman and Lost Kingdom is now part of the new universe. Because don't forget, originally, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom was being released before the Flash movie. So maybe there needs to be some changes. The Flash is the first movie I have seen be put to for pre-order 2 days after premiere, and also the first where you have to pay for the movie in advance before it even comes out on digital. Really? I didn't know that. That's insane. John, here's a question for you. If you could only watch one 24 or Lost. Oh, Jesus Christ. You really got me there, John. I don't know, because I get, like, when I'm rewatching stuff, and I've just finished my Lost rewatch, and I'm still obsessed with it because I'm writing my unofficial Lost sequel, by the way, which is called Trapped. I may post a video. I did record a video for Twitter explaining what it's all about. I may post it on here when I finish up here, but very difficult. I'll be honest with you, John. I'm going to cheat and say that I could never ever choose over 24 or Lost. I think they're two of the most special pieces of storytelling I've ever experienced in my life. They've given me an experience. They've uplifted me. They've made me think about the creative process, what makes good characterizations. And, Lost, I went on this spiritual journey with, laying out the souls of these characters via the flashback, seeing the actors not just reciting their lines, but understanding their characters deeply. Very special show, but both shows so special. And unfortunately, there is no way I can choose one or the other. You did set me a poser, though. I can't choose. I'm sorry. But Super, they really don't want people to cancel their pre-order. No, that's bad, isn't it? That's so bad. I'm gonna try and pre-order it myself. Ronnie Judge, do you watch EastEnders, Mick? I do. Looks like Cindy's back on Thursday. Yes, Cindy's back. And we've got the revelations about Linda's family as well. And of course, we've got Colin Salmon, who, of course, played General Zod on the Krypton show. So, yeah, EastEnders is really pushing it out there. I'm not sure how I feel about Cindy coming back, though. John, who made 24? Well, basically, I'll tell you, right, so there's a production company owned by, what's his name now? Oh, my God. Yeah, Ron Howard's production company basically produced 24. So basically, the guys who created 24 were Joel Cerno, Robert Cochran. Now, they used to produce Falcon Crest, which was a very old soap opera. And so, yeah, that's who created the show. But it was genius. It was like a movie. They were making a movie. 24 movies a year. Insane. Fantastic achievement, John. James and Crap. Also, Batman, 1989, Aquaman, and V for Vendetta. All great movies, my friend. I appreciate them very, very much. And this is what I said this morning on Twitter. I said, there's so many great DC movies. So when a bad one comes along, or when a sick movie in a franchise that's dead already fails, you see, I'm not that upset. When, like, BVS was being shitted on, or Man of Steel, and when I saw Justice League, I was depressed. They were lows. And I mean, the Aquaman gave me some hope. Wonder Woman gave me some hope. It wasn't to be in the end, but we got some really good movies in the DCEU, and beyond that and before that, I've got some great memories. Smallville, again, another really a spiritual journey for me watching Smallville. Smallville really taught me about the creative process like Lost did. I was obsessed with Smallville. I couldn't stop talking about Smallville when it was active. I told you all before, I used to have a Twitter account called Smallville Mad. Everything I spoke about was Smallville and Superman. I was fucking obsessed. This is why everyone used to buy me tops and caps about Superman, because I was ill, mate. I couldn't stop talking about Smallville and Superman. That's how deep it was. John and 24 had a lot of guest stars. Great guest stars. Look, and you never knew who was good, who was bad. I loved what they did with Nina Myers, by the way. 1 minute she could have been a traitor, then she proved her innocence. That was clever. We didn't see the fact coming that she was the traitor. And of course, she killed our beloved Terry Bauer. R.I.P. Terry Bauer. Great. I loved every season. I think season day 6 was the my least enjoyable one, but it was still very good. By the way, they did President Wayne Palmer dirty. Don't like what they did to him. But I love day 7 when Tony's the villain. Day 8 is amazing. The show finished brilliantly. Not sure if they should have done 24 Live Another Day, but it was solid at the very least. And another good ending, because Jack Bauer should never have a happy ending. I don't want to see him on a rocking chair talking to Kim. No, Jack Bauer must always have a tragic ending. And I'm glad they ended him in a way. So he's in Russia. And as Keith has said to Chloe on Twitter, come and get me. Come to Russia and get me, Chloe. He was saying it last year. So maybe something is happening, which will be very exciting, as long as they don't woke it up. Gavin, how do you feel about the Harry Potter TV series? Hopefully they can be more book accurate, but I will feel bad for who they cast as Harry. That's a very big pressure. I'll tell you exactly how I feel. I am disgusted, Gavin. I think it's a horrible idea. You're taking movies that can make you $2 billion each movie onto streaming, where I don't understand where the money's going to be, apart from sponsorships. There's no money there. There's no money in doing that. It's a dumb idea. Rebooting the movies and saying we'll never see those actors in those roles. I think it's the king of dumbest fucking ideas. And I'm so angry that they're doing that. That's how I feel about that. And I will not consume it and I won't watch it. They made 7, 8 wonderful movies. The Fantastic Beasts movies are solid, especially the first one. But I'm not interested in this bullshit. And of course, they're talking about being more inclusive. Piss off. Not interested. That's how I feel, Gavin. I'm very, very angry about that. I don't like dumb decisions. I don't mind if you're naturally dumb and you do dumb things. But when you're supposed to be intelligent and part of an industry, and you're an industry professional, and you say to me, well, those movies that we could continue and make $2 billion a piece, right? Globally, like we could do The Cursed Child, right? Starring Daniel Radcliffe and Harry Potter's son or whatever it is, right? Because I haven't been to those plays before, right? But we could make $2 billion out of that. Now we're just taking it to TV now. No more movies. That doesn't make any sense, Gavin. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm being negative. But to me, someone with a creative mind and an imagination, I think it's the dumbest idea you could ever do. Bring back the original actors. Continue the saga. As long as you don't do a Star Wars sequel trilogy. John, my favourite Harry Potter is the Deathly Hallows Part 2. I mean, look, I've never read the books, but the movies, very difficult to pick one over the other. But there's not a bad Harry Potter movie, that's for sure. Gavin Troy, yeah, they should have just done a prequel series about James Potter and friends at Hogwarts, or maybe a Dumbledore or Voldemort series for them at college. Yeah, and just continue the movies separately. But oh no, these people have no imagination. Maybe they'll do that anyway. But from what I can see, they're taking Harry Potter away from cinemas. They keep on saying that they're supporting theatres again. How? You're taking Harry Potter away from theatres. The fiscal potential in the continuation of the Harry Potter movie saga is there. This doesn't make any sense at all. Right, I'll be going very soon in about 5 minutes. We've had an extended DC Universe daily. We've had good chats. I've answered your questions. I've reacted to your comments. It's been brilliant. We haven't had much news to digest today. It's just a continuing autopsy of the Flash movie that is a financial disaster and you can't spin it. I did say at the time when they came out of CinemaCon, wait and see how embarrassing this is going to be when people realise this is not the best movie since The Dark Knight and Superman the movie, and it's not the best movie since The Great Dictator and The Godfather, right? I said it, you don't do things like that. You don't go in tactical directions like this. It's going to smack you in the face, but they're so desperate, and this is the direction they've gone in. They really, it's amazing the people we have in this industry today. They're so incompetent. Only incompetent people give Velma a second series that's fueled with hatred for my agenda. and my sexuality. It's pathetic. It's sexism. It's racism of the highest order. But when it's directed at us, it's fine. Waz007, thanks, Mick, live stream. You are welcome, James O'Crap. Great live stream. Thank you very much, James. This has been Monday's edition of the DC Universe Daily here on Movies TV Mad with me, Mick, your host with the most. Just ask your girlfriends and your wife. Please like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you never miss this beautiful perfection. Smash the like button if you love me. Subscribe if you're new. Please have your say. I will be back tonight with Monday Night Live here on Movies TV Mad with me, Mick. So until I see you tonight, goodbye, au revoir, auf Wiedersehen. Thank you very much, everyone. Thanks for the continued support. Very much appreciated. Loving these lives again. I'll be back tonight. See you then. Maybe there'll be some breaking news. You never know. See you then.